Hi everybody, so we're going to be talking about how to find x and y intercepts, and we're going to be using it with two different methods. One is the algebraic method and the other one is the stacked method. And the first one that we're going to go through is the algebraic method, and we're only going to be working with this first flap, so I'm going to... This can be used for all of the linear forms. It can be used for slope-intercept, which is our first one that we learned last year. Then point-slope, which for some of you is just a favorite now. And then lastly, it's going to be one that you haven't seen before, and it's one that we're going to be learning about just now, and that is called standard form. Standard form is capital A lowercase x plus capital B lowercase y equals capital C. A, B, and C are coefficients and or constants that you're going to be seeing. And let's go ahead and open it up. And the main thing that's going to be happening as you go through, no matter whether it's slope-intercept form or even standard form, is that if you're looking for your x-intercept, and if you're looking for your y-intercept, there's a basic formula that you follow. For your x-intercept, all of them are x something, whatever that x value is, and 0. So you end up setting your y equal to 0 and solving for x. The reverse is true with your y-intercept. It's 0, comma y, where you end up setting your x equal to 0 and then solve for your y. Now the reason why this ends up working is, I'm going to show you on the back of this right here. If we had a coordinate plane right here, we've got our y and our x. What ends up happening is that if this were my x-intercept, the point where my line crosses the x-axis, then this would be some number, let's say that's 1, and then it'd be 0. If it's my x-intercept, again, this would be 2, 0. If it's somewhere over here, it would be negative 2, 0. And no matter how far off we are in either directions, no matter what the number is, it's going to be something, your x-intercept, and then 0. And that's where we get that x0 for your x-intercept part. Now your y-intercept is something similar. And so you would have a point right here. And I seem to like 2 a lot today, so that's 0, negative 2. Or you could have 0, negative 3. And I'm sorry guys, that's Jackson in the background. Or Ash, one of them. 0, negative 4. And so forth. It doesn't matter where you are on the on the y-axis right here. It's going to be 0 something. So I could be all the way down here on the y-axis. And it would be 0, and then whatever our y value is here. So we're going to go ahead and practice with some of these. So we're going to go ahead and start with number 1. Right here. And if I'm looking for the x-intercept, remember, x is just like, this is my intercept. So that's the only one that you're looking for, and everything else means nothing to it. It's a 0. So we are going to replace our y value here with the 0 equals negative, whatever our x is going to be, plus 5. Now we solve for x. Subtract 5 from both sides, and we get negative 5 is equal to negative x. Well, we're not looking for negative x, we're looking for positive x. So we're going to divide by negative 1, and you get 5 is equal to x. You're going to write your answer as a coordinate pair, because that's exactly what that is. So your x-intercept, if it ever asks you, is some number and then 0. Your y-intercept right here, you're going to do the same thing, and it's going to be 0 comma y instead. So you're replacing your x value right here with the 0. And you get y equals 0 plus 5, which is y equals 5. And we're saying that our y-intercept is 5. Now, the best part about all of this is that if you're in slope-intercept form, it already tells you what your y-intercept is. It already told you it was 5. So some of it, you don't have to do all of that work. So when we move on to number 2 right here, we don't have to do all of this work for a y-intercept. We can just say, oh, hey, my b value is -8. So my answer is 0, -8 if it asks me for my y-intercept. You have to remember that your y-intercept is a different point than whatever your x-intercept is going to be. Let's go ahead and solve for what our x-intercept would be for this. And it's going to be y equals 1/2 x minus 8. And we're going to replace our y with a 0. Now we solve for x. This is just solving equations 101. Add 8 to both sides, as it's the inverse operation. The opposite of half of something is twice that, which means we're going to multiply it, both sides, by 2. These will 1 out, and if you're confused as to why, 2 over 2 gets you 1. And you get 16 equals x, but we're going to write 16 comma 0. And if this messes with your head, think about it this way. Half of what number is going to get you 8? And half of 16 would have gotten you 8. Not 4 like some of you thought. Half of 8 is 4, but not the other way around. And I'm going to skip number 3 for now. And you can check with me in class about that. And we're going to go to standard form because that's something we haven't seen yet. For standard form, we're going to do the same process. Except this time, we can't cheat with our y-intercept because it's in standard form. So we're going to end up replacing our y with a 0. Remember, your x-intercept, it's only your x value that we solve for. So we get 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 12. Simplify. You get 3x minus 0 equals 12. And we don't really need to be extra and write all of that. You can just say 3x equals 12. And then when you divide by 3, you find that x is 4. Which means our x-intercept is 4, 0. Now we're going to do that exact same process with our y-intercept here. And we're going to go ahead and replace this time our x value with a 0. And then now we're going to solve for y. 3 times 0 is 0. Don't need to be extra to write all that, but if it helps you, do it. And you get negative 2y equals 12. Divide both sides by negative 2. And you get a y equals negative 6. And that's it. Write your answer as a coordinate pair, and you're done. But you see all of this work, and it looks so jumbled up together. So there is a trick when you're in standard form. When you have it in ax plus by equals c, you can now use the stack it form. The stack it method, and some people call it the hide it as well. And you can hide it and you can stack it, whatever helps you sleep at night. This can be only, oh my gosh, if you had lights that I could put on this, if I could put a billboard up, this can only be used for standard form. That's how important it is for you to know that you can only use it for this form. Only for AX plus BY equals C. Only this one. So let's go ahead and open it up. And you'll notice that this one is the exact same as number 4. Oops. And let me show you the shortcut. You might be upset with Miss Samji, but it's okay. You'll appreciate the fact that she's showing you this to begin with. So, it's so small for you guys to see right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it a little bit bigger. And you see that 12, your C value? It is so lonely. So what it's going to do is it's going to jump the fence right here, and it's going to land on top of these people. Oops, didn't leave it enough room. And it can't just float like that. It needs to land on something. So let's give it a landing platform. And this is where some people call it the hide it or the stack it. We've already stacked it. But when you hide it and you cover this part up, you get 12 divided by 3 for your X value, which 12 divided by 3 is 4. And since this is your x-intercept, you write it as x, comma, 0. And there's your x-intercept. And the same thing's going to happen here, where you have it as 0, comma, y. Cover up the other side. You get 12 divided by -2, which gets you y is -6. If you plug it in, it's 0, comma, -6. And you're done. Look at this work compared to everything that we did on number 4 here. Usually this way is going to be so much more awesome than any of the other ways if you're looking for your X and Y intercept. It's also a good way to graph when you're in standard form right here. So we've got capital AX plus BY equals C. It's in standard form. Let's do it. We're going to write it down. I'm writing a little bit smaller for you guys this time. We're going to take the 20, stack it on top. Hide it. We know it's going to be x, comma, 0. 20 divided by -4, watch your signs, is going to get you a -5. And then the other one is just a 0. Same thing for a y-intercept, except now it's 0y. 20 divided by 5, well, that's 4. So you get 0, comma, 4. And you're done. It is really, truly that simple. Now, sometimes you're going to see something like number 7. And please don't freak out. Oh my gosh, don't freak out. There are still numbers in front of this. Remember that. We're going to get x minus y equals 2. You're going to take the 2 and put it on top of your x and on top of your y again. Stack it on top. And remember, this is 2 divided by... There is a 1 right in front of this x and in front of this y. And you're going to use that 1, that coefficient that's right before it, to divide. It's going to be x, comma, 0. And 2 divided by 1, that's 2, 0. And for your y-intercept, again, watch your signs. It's going to be 2 divided by -1, which is -2. And you're going to write your y-intercept in the form of 0y. Don't freak out when you don't see those coefficients. We're going to do this last one. And we're just going to stack it on top. So you get -10 over the 8x plus -10 over the 10y. All you're going to do is simplify. It's okay if you get fractions. When I cover it up, I get -10 over 8. But that can simplify to -5/4. And that would be your answer. Same thing here, except we get a nice, pretty integer. And we're going to get -1 as our y-intercept. And we write it as our coordinate pair. In summary, all you're doing is that if you have ax plus big by equals big C, you're going to stack your C on top. And your x-intercept is going to be whatever C divided by A is, and then 0. And your y-intercept is going to be whatever your C divided by B is, with the 0 before. Please make sure that if you have any questions, you leave me a comment or shoot me a message on Remind or Google Classroom, and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks for watching.